My name's Eli Delaney, and I have the honor of meeting some pretty cool people. These are the entrepreneurs, the artists, the creatives, the game changers that are making a positive impact in the people that they meet. And I'm a firm believer that the people that you meet can get you anywhere you want to go. And this show is my way of sharing them with you. It's my way of also helping you meet cool people. All right, welcome back, everybody. Eli here, and today on Meet Cool People, I have Anneliese Vance. She and I just recently got to know each other through Success Champions, which is a lot of the people that I meet come from there because that's really where I'm meeting the most people, honestly. But she and I had a couple of great conversations. I was like, yeah, we got to share her with everybody. So let me give you a little bit of background on her. We'll bring her in. She's a mommy CEO. She's a fractional CAO, marketing vendor broker, a human jungle gem, and a podcaster. She is the founder of Be Present Advertising. She's helping fathers of family-owned businesses go from feeling torn between providing either their time or money to the triumph of no longer having to choose. With that said, Anneliese, thanks for coming and hanging out today.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, so I kind of did a little bit of an intro for you, but tell people a little bit more about who is Anneliese and what are you doing to do cool things in the world?
Who am I? Oh,
Yeah.
I love broad questions, Eli. I've been called the most family first person on LinkedIn. I didn't realize it, but it's probably just how I was raised. My parents have been together for 53 years now. So the foundation and core of my family, my in-laws have been married 40 something years.
Oh, wow.
I always say I'm part of that rare, I think it says a lot about me, that rare part of the population where both my parents are married and we're still married. We're actually celebrating 20 years in February. I am a mom. That's the human jungle gym part. Donnie, since this is going out to some SEN people, coined that. My 6-month-old was literally crawling on top of me while we were talking. I'm all about my kids. I'm a fierce mama bear. And I'm all about helping the families behind family-owned businesses get to spend more time together. And we do that through the world of Google Ad Management. So, and what was the second question?
Well, that was, you kind of led right into it. So
Okay.
yeah, you led right into it. Because I don't remember exactly how I asked the questions. I ask them and I forget. It's your turn to answer. You don't ask me to repeat it. No. So you're helping family-owned businesses. What kind of businesses are you generally working with for the most part?
Yeah, so we focus ad owned and family first trades and service based companies.
Okay.
And we're looking to help the people that want a loyal person that they can trust, not someone who's necessarily on staff, who's there in his 9 to 5, who they can count on. You know, it's more than just like a role or a job or a position. And I'll tell you, just if I can, a quick story. So there's this guy, I won't name names, but he's got to be in his 70s. He's a tailor. He's as Italian as they come. And I just got a message on my voicemail from Yelp because he still sends people to me. I haven't seen this guy in 6+ years. But when he has the wealthy bankers and people that know businesses come in, he's talking about me. So we just have that mutual respect. And I met him in 2007.
Yeah.
So he was one of the clients I met with the very first week that I worked at when I was in my sales career in advertising. So
Nice. That is cool.
yeah.
And that's, one of the things, and anybody who listens to the show knows this, is that for me, relationship is the most important part. Like, we are in business. Yes, we're here to make some money because we got bills to pay, but
Sure.
coming from a place of build the relationship first and
Mm-hmm.
build that long-term know, like, trust, and loyalty is so critical. And I think it's even more critical these days,
Oh my
especially
gosh.
we have, let's face it, you and I are both in that quote unquote marketing agency realm, which I don't even like to use that word, but
I know, right?
it
Everyone
is.
wakes up and's like, I want to talk to a marketer today.
I know. Well, and marketers have given us a bad name. So it's like, yeah, I don't want to associate with those guys. But we are, nowadays, they're a dime a dozen. And so many of them, they don't know what they're doing. They're starting out with just, hey, that's Right? So I'm going to start a digital experience. And they don't understand the basics that really get you going, not only getting the results, like actually knowing what you're doing, which is important, but also how you treat the people that you talk to, whether they become clients or not. And it sounds like, that's with you. That's something you've put that in place, and you've got those long lasting relationships that are there for you and can keep sending people to you because you built that relationship. So
Yeah.
it's a
My
long way to
husband,
lead to a question of what, like, where's your brain when you're talking to somebody to set the stage for that?
oh, that's a great question.
I try to ask great questions. It doesn't
No,
always
it's a it's a very
happen.
it's a very thoughtful question, and so I want to give it a thoughtful answer. I'm about where's the relationship down the road? Um, like you said, whether they're going to work with us, whether they're not. We've had people come back to us, and you've talked about this. Come back
Mhm.
to us 6 months here, or 6 months, 2 years later. We have relationships that are 17 years old,
Yeah.
where we're their people, and we start that foundation on a foundation of trust. And I think that was the quote from our meeting yesterday, which I loved. I can't remember what it said, but it was about trust. Um,
It was Stephen
and
Covey. I don't remember the
thank you.
exact quote because
Yes.
I
Yeah. Is
picked
it
it,
was
but
it
yeah.
from the Speed of Trust? I was going to ask you.
I don't know. I came up with a list of possibles, and
It's a
that was
really
one
good
of
book.
them. Yeah.
Sorry, I got us off on a tangent. So
It's okay.
I'm about trust, and I am about them knowing that I'm going to do the best thing for them. So, for instance, and I started this story yesterday, and again, I'll leave out names, but there's this gentleman who we talked in 2023. He found me through the services page on LinkedIn. We chatted. I told him, look, you're not ready. You need a website, you need a product, and you need a business name. Now, for some people, like you would think that they would know those basics. Well, he came back to me 3 years later, 2026. Hey, I'm ready for Google Ads. Do we have a business name? Mm-mm. We're working on a product and we have a 1 page website. Now, Eli, one, I'm protecting our time, but two, I'm protecting him.
Hmm.
And I just had a conversation with him like, look, you need someone to help you with your website. He said, I have developers helping me with my website. And I said, again, and I literally said in the message, with all due respect, a website and being found in the search engine with basic SEO is the foundation of marketing.
Hmm.
And anyone who tells you different doesn't care about you and is only about your money. Because Eli, I could have set him up with Google Ads. We could have taken his money until he figured out that it wasn't working.
Right.
But he's not going to stay with us. He's not going to refer his friends. He's going to know we were just about the money.
Right.
Um, have a gal who got referred to us, and we met with her office manager. She figured out she needed to do the vetting of vendors, so she came to us, and she reached out and said, "Hey, I have an emergency with my son. Can we reschedule?" And I sent back to her, "Absolutely, you're exactly where you need to be. We'll be here." Because
Hmm.
I'm about her and the relationship. And I said, "By the way, how's your son?"
Right.
I mean, it's just called being human, as my friend Deanna Russo, if she hears this, says, but it's wild to me how we forget to be human.
Right.
And I could
Yeah.
go off on a whole tangent on that, but I'm thinking about the foundation of trust. And again, hopefully they're going to go with us. Most people go with us by the time
Right.
they get sent over to us. But if they don't, like, what's their impression? Because they can become some of my best referral partners, even if they never do business with me.
Hmm.
And so I don't want them to feel like a number. And I don't want to feel like a number. I just try to, I was raised by that silly golden rule, which I know has like the platinum rule, or there's all these versions, but just treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't like it, don't do it to somebody else. Like you said, I think yesterday too, like, would I want to get this email? I thought that was a
Mhm.
great way to phrase it, but it's just common
Yeah.
sense isn't so common all the time.
No, it's not. Unfortunately. And I love that because I love everything you just shared with that. I think it's becoming a lost art. And I think that but it's going to come back. It's going to come back in a
Gosh, I
very
hope
different
so.
way.
You
And I
promise?
I wish. I can't promise it, that is something I definitely cannot guarantee. But,
Whew.
if you think about it, especially in today's, digital world, there's a lot more people who, lack of a better term, their ethics are not where they should be,
Mm.
and we got a lot of people that are really focused on just the numbers. Like, I read about this recently about the speaking world. Coming from the speaking world, I remember, one of the things that just appalled me was the term, related to how many people were in the room. It's like, how many buying units are in the room? And
Yikes.
what they meant by that was not just how many people were in the room, but say, for instance, it was husband and wife, that one buying unit with the two people. And they would run the
Oh,
numbers that way. It's like that's their KPI. And I'm like, I get the idea of understanding how you can, make this worth your time, but you are pulling the humanity out of the
mm,
entire conversation when you do
yeah,
that. And it was one of
I
those things
agree.
that, for lack of a better term, it's just icky, and
Mhm.
that's one of the things that when we think about that, we think about how we're treating other people, treat them as a real human being. We don't have all the answers and we may screw something up because we are human, things happen.
Sure,
But
sure.
I think this is my personal belief. I think that with the rise of the automation and the AI, and I'm a big automation guy. I've been an automation guy since 2007.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's like, okay, how can we use automation to leverage our time, not remove the humanity from it?
Oh,
And
we could have
now
a whole
we're in an age
conversation just on
we
this topic,
could. Yeah.
Eli.
We could probably have a lot of conversations on this. But we have that so many people are jumping into that. And I think that what's going to end up happening, and I'm already seeing it to some degree, but I think we're getting to it where people are starting to get burned out and they're tired of the noise. And so they're seeking people who are more focused and they can have a real relationship with, and they, even if they've never met the person, maybe never, they, every conversation, or every communication I should say, is feels like a conversation of them sitting across, having having a cup of coffee or something. It's like, and I'll use my own example in this. When for everybody listening, probably by now, I hope, knows that the Follow Up Code book came out recently. And that book, the number one compliment I've had a lot of people tell me how great it was and has helped them with their ideas of what they're going to follow up with and everything. But the number one thing I've had is, almost everybody who's read it, who's told me, has said, I felt like it was such an easy read and felt like I was just having a conversation with you.
Hmm,
And like,
that's amazing.
that
Yeah,
that was the goal. That's what I was after.
absolutely.
And I think all of our relationships are going to go more that direction. So
Yeah.
with like what you're doing, I mean, advertising is not the sexiest thing in the world by itself, but if you can build that relationship into it and that trust and treating people in a way that they feel like you actually care about them instead of just how much can I make off of this person,
Yeah.
that's what is creating that loyalty.
Yeah. And if I can interject here real quick before your next question, you just triggered this thought. We don't have contracts,
Okay.
which is crazy
Mhm.
in today's world. We
Right.
really believe on the gentlemen's and the, I guess, gentlewomen's, gentle ladies. I don't know what the, but handshake. Because I
Mhm.
came from a world for 14 years where it was a 6 or a 12-month contract. I've heard of 24-month contracts. Eli,
Right.
people can't project what's going to happen to their business in 2 years. That's insane.
Right. Yeah.
And our belief is if we deliver and if we get you an ROI, a contract's not a big deal. We've been in business 6 years, hasn't been. We
Mhm.
actually, one of my favorite emails I've gotten in my life was from one of our more recent clients. He actually was referred 6 months, came back, better life timing and everything. And he said, I can't find your invoice. Your husband's doing an amazing job. I want to pay you. Use this Gmail so I can pay you and get this invoice. And then he sent a follow up one the next month and said, I just want to let you know it came through and I paid it. Just make sure I paid it. Who has
That's
those
funny.
conversations about paying invoices? But he was like hunting me down, and he's not the only person.
Right.
Um, so, you know, I don't ever want when the invoice comes through, you ever get that? Like you
Mhm.
have something on auto pay and you're like, oh man, like
Right.
it might be like $12, but I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to cancel that again. Because there's no value coming from it, right? But if I
Right.
know something's of value, I'm setting aside money to make sure the annual subscription's going to work because I know I'm getting value. And that's how we want to be.
Mhm. Yeah.
We had a conversation yesterday, someone I was referred to through SCN through Roger Jorns. Shout out
Mhm.
to my boy
Yep.
Roger. And it's with Sam, if you're listening. And he emails my husband. He says, I want to have a call. Now, my husband, he's more analytical. He can tend to have the tendency to maybe think about something in a negative light, where I'm like
Right.
more the eternal optimist.
Right.
And he's like, oh God, please be good. Please be good. Please be good. He gets on and he goes, all right, I have something I need to talk to you about. My husband's bracing himself. He goes, you just brought me a $50,000 contract. How do I increase our budget? And my husband's like, okay. And he goes, and I want to start Google ads for a whole nother section of our business. And he goes, okay.
Nice.
He comes upstairs to tell me, I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
Like,
Thumbs
which
up,
one am
thumbs
I
down.
listening to? Um, but yeah, like those are the conversations we want to happen. Like,
Mhm.
but not just how can I give you more money so we can take more money, but because they're having so much value, they know there's a return and they want to give us more.
Right.
And so that's how we try to build our trust is based on results. So,
Yeah. I love that. Now, and that leads me to actually a couple questions, and I think this is
okay.
going to help for anybody who's interested in Google Ads as an option for their business as well.
Yeah.
Um, one thing with advertising, a lot of times it's like, okay, people always talk about it takes time for results. And I know, like for me
Can.
personally, the emails, yes, they can come, you can get responses and get results immediately, but a lot of times it does take longer because clients I'm dealing with, their sales cycle is 6, 12 months sometimes anyway. What we're
Yes.
doing is making sure that when that person is ready, you're top of mind.
Yes.
How do you deal with that from a standpoint of, because people want to say, okay, if I spend 500 today, I want to get 5,000 tomorrow kind of mindset. I know we run into that. And I think that it's a good conversation to educate people a bit on it, which I'm sure
Yeah.
you're educating your clients on it anyway.
All the time.
But what can people expect
Yeah.
if they're going to jump down that rabbit hole of playing with Google Ads?
Yeah. So are we talking about if it's their very first time signing up or maybe if
Yes.
they're just,
Let's say
okay.
if it's their first time signing up.
Okay. So like I talked about before, first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that your website is set up well and it's set up to convert. And if it's not, we will not take your money.
Okay.
Because if we do, you're not going to blame it on the website. You're going to blame it on us. Then you're going to go to another marketer. It's still going to be your website and you're going
Mhm.
to go into eternal failure. So I'm going to introduce you to someone like TK to do the SEO or Roger to do the website, just
Mhm.
depending on the piece. So that's step one. Step two, when you first go in, if it's a brand new account, Google's built on trust. So here's what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people think that the buyers who do the ads or the SEO, the people showing up on Google
Mhm.
are Google's customers. That's incorrect. The end user, the buyers, the people finding the website are Google's customers. They want to build credibility with those people. So they're not going to serve you up if your website isn't proper, if your ads aren't built properly. Okay.
Okay.
Because you're going to blame Google, you're not going to think it's the person's website. You're going to be like, oh, Google served me up the wrong result. So they're very, very cautious about that. Then we're going to have a deep dive conversation on who do you want to show up in front of?
Mhm.
Because there's audiences. When do you want to show up? When is your audience online? Then what keywords do you want to show up for? But the most importantly, Eli, is what keywords do you not want to show up for? And I
Mhm.
won't go off on that tangent, but that is the number one thing that people missed.
Yep.
If you have a follow up question, I'm happy to educate people on that, but it's the number one thing people miss. And you're going to go into that first week, you're going to be in a learning phase. Google's going to be learning, how do people respond to you? When are you showing up? When are people clicking on you? How is your budget working? What are your cost per clicks and all those little jargony words I'm not going to get into right now since this is basic. So that first week, I wouldn't expect a lot. You could get a click that leads to a sale after that learning phase is over. Week 2 could happen.
Right.
We manage people's expectations to give it 3 to 6 months. The reason is the first month, we're going to be very conservative with your budget. We're not going to blow through it because it's your hard earned money, especially since we're dealing with family owned companies. This might be their only step into advertising. This might be their entire advertising budget, and we don't want to screw with that.
Right.
Month 2, we're going to be less conservative and be a little bit more aggressive with your budget. Month 3, we're going to settle out, and that's when you're really going to get into that hum. Now, with that said, I'll leave out names and industries. We had someone last month, $500 budget, got 27 submissions that booked consultations with her month 1. It can happen.
Right.
What I will say as to why she was so successful is she's very, very specific in her niche. I talked to someone else who's also in our industry, was way broad, didn't have a niche. And I was like, I actually referred her to you, but we'll leave out the name and industry. And I said, you need to get your online identity. You need to fix your LinkedIn. We need to have your website honed in on who you want. So when we go to Google, we can say, I want to go after this type of person, because it's called a longer tailed keyword, just is a fancy way of saying more words.
Right.
The more specific we can be, the less people there are searching. If you type in plumbers, Dallas, Texas, you're going to get everybody. But if you type in either a question, right, that you might ask AI, and that's a whole nother topic I won't go off on a tangent in, or you might say, bathroom remodeling is going to be more specific than plumbers, or you might say broken faucet, you might say leaking toilet. Like the more specific, if you can say leaking toilet and the brand, like the more specific you can get, the less people are searching. Because what a lot of people don't understand is that Google is an auction process. Think of it like the stock market online, right? So there's the numbers that are going up and down every day on the stock market for various factors, right? Won't get into that. Could go off on a tangent too. But they know in Cincinnati, in Monroe, Ohio, where I live, that we had tornadoes last night. That has now affected all search for roofers and anyone who has anything related to water. Those numbers just changed overnight. They're more expensive. Google's going to pay more. You're going to charge more because they know they can.
Right.
But the customer will pay more because they know people are looking.
Right.
So that was a whole mouthful to a question. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about it happening correctly.
Right.
And that doesn't change when you talk to us. This is how we will be on an onboarding call. I will be this excited and passionate because I want to see people succeed. Also, again, going back to, since we don't have contracts, we're going to set ourselves up to make sure we're going to set up your campaign to succeed in every facet possible. Otherwise, it's on us. So.
Right. No, I love that. And, for anybody listening, you should go back and just listen to everything she just said, because she literally walked you through all the important factors if you're going to get in play in that world. It really is. Couple of things with this. I think it is so important that people understand being in the right place at the right time, from a standpoint of like what you're talking about. Number one is, you don't bring in an ads person yet when you don't have a website yet. It makes no sense.
Or a properly set up website.
Yeah. And that is something that I think is undervalued by people so much. They think they can go to whatever platform and just create it for free real quick. And it could be okay, but it's not set up the way it needs to be. So I think it's good to make sure everybody needs to think about this stuff, but think about what are the right order of things. If you don't
Yeah.
have this, you shouldn't be doing that. That
Yes.
kind of scenario.
And there is
I'm
an order.
Yeah, there is an order. And I always I like it when I can have these kind of conversations with somebody like you, because you get it, I get it, and we can talk about the flow of things and see how many times people skip a step and then everything
Mm.
falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is such a critical piece that people need to think about. Um, Here's a question for you.
Okay.
So I know you focus on helping, especially like service professionals. Is there are there industries that really like Google ads aren't going to be a good fit for? Like, I mean, and I asked this question for like, as an example for me, I am not like, I work out of my house. I'm completely virtual.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm working in that B2B space.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Is that something that would work for me? Because I know Facebook ads are known to work in this arena, and I've played with them a little bit. But what about Google ads? Because I really haven't done anything
So
with that
I
for ages.
love, love, love that you asked this question. So it depends on how deep your pockets are and who your competitors are.
Okay.
We have helped some random industries online, like super random that I would never ever think would work, but the search volume's there.
Right.
There are people that are great companies. There's the search volume, but I'm going to use insurance for instance.
Hmm.
I would never recommend that a family owned insurance company did Google ads. And I actually told this to Colin.
Hmm.
Um, because you're going to be going up against the state farms and the
Right.
prudentials
The
and
big companies with
the
deeper
people with the
pockets.
deeper pockets.
Yep.
And now it is possible to find a very specific niche that they're not going after. Say, for example, I've had this idea for any insurance people listening, just an idea. Go after renter's insurance because not as many insurance companies are going after it.
Hmm.
Then bring them in for a full quote. You got
Right.
the lead. Don't go after general insurance or auto insurance or life insurance where
Hmm.
there's all. So it's an idea, may or may not work.
Right.
But, um, we, even though we're a Google ads company, will never advertise on Google because who's our competitor, Eli?
Google.
Google, who has the
Yeah.
deepest freaking pockets in the world other than who we talked about yesterday, and I won't get into that, who can be his own country. So we're never going to advertise on Google.
Right.
We've had a LinkedIn specialist reach out to us. She knows who she is if she's listening. It was $500 a click.
Ouch.
I don't have $500 a click to risk to
Right.
hope that someone's not just tire kicking.
Right.
So that's where we're going to protect them. The other
Hmm.
thing I would answer that is it depends on where your audience is hanging out. One of the most interesting facts I ever learned in being in marketing is that the number one place that 40-year-old men hang out is on X. And so you can run ads on X to them
Hmm.
versus on LinkedIn or Facebook or Google.
Right.
So if your target market is 40-year-old males for whatever
Right.
reason, there's a lot of products for that. You could do that. Um, so
I think that's a really good point to bring up,
it
is
depends.
knowing,
Less,
knowing where they're going to hang out.
yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, and it goes back to that same topic. You could call the podcast that. But you know, I don't know enough about the email marketing world, but I'm guessing HubSpot and some other bigger companies are probably running ads, and so I would say no.
Right.
But if we could make it really niche, we can search any keyword in any area. You could pick a little suburb in DFW. Now, I'm learning about Texas. I'm going to be learning a lot more about Texas. I love
We'll get you to
Texas.
come hang out with us.
I've always said when Texas falls, we're screwed. So to all my Texas listeners out there, I'm a big fan. A lot of business owners there, but yeah, so that would be my answer. Is it just depends on, again, your budget
Right.
is super essential. I actually did a whole podcast on your geographies, your keywords, and your time of day being the pie filling
Okay.
and the crust being your budget. And you need a big enough crust to hold the budget or the filling's going to go out everywhere. And you want an equal amount of filling to pie crust if you're a
Right.
pie fan.
All right. Sounds good.
So
No, that's good. Thank
it's
you for
out there
sharing.
somewhere.
Yeah. Now I
But
want pie. Uh, so, okay. This was really good stuff. And you shared some, hopefully people paid attention. Like I said, go back, listen to this again, because if you're looking at playing in the ad space at all, even if it's not just Google ads or, yeah, if it's not just Google ads, the principles apply in any platform. But you brought up one other thing. I want to give you a chance to do a little bit of shout out. Let's talk about your podcast.
ah, my podcast that is currently paused. So we have a podcast. We've mostly done it on LinkedIn Lives. We're looking for a home for it. It's called Dad Talk, and I just talk to dads. Sometimes they're business owners. I have had every kind of dad coach you could possibly think about on there. Eli, I didn't know there were so many dad coaches. I am not going to name names, but just the most interesting topics that you would just ever think about.
Right.
I just had conversations with dads that I met on LinkedIn that like really are like nailing the dad thing and just having conversations with them. I've had people on and just hearing funny stories, and I've told funny stories about my husband. That's some of my favorite content to put on LinkedIn is when he comes home and tells me a story, because he is such a visually implicated storyteller. Like you can see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've just started hitting record and transcribe, and then I put it on LinkedIn. The best one, I have to tell you. So my kids were way younger. So our kids, at one point we had 2 under 2. So we had 21 months and newborn. I called that the potty training and nursing stage at the same time of my life. So my husband had the kids out at Target. He forgot the diaper bag in the car. Anyone who's gone to Target with children knows that for whatever reason, the kids section is on the far end of Target, away from the parking lot.
Right.
My son has a blowout. He talked about it being like a volcano coming out with a straw. So my husband did whatever male would do. He bought another box of diapers. We were going to go through them anyway. Changed it. It's fine. But these are the kind of just hilarious stories that we've had on there. And one of my pet peeves, Eli, is that we have to go to Australia to find Bandit on Bluey, or Britain to find or Daddy Pig on Peppa Pig, to find dads that aren't the butt of a joke. Because I can tell you, and I, for a year straight, every Wednesday had a dad shout out to a dad who was doing it right, who
Right.
was involved, who, maybe his involvement was doing the dishes and the laundry. Amen. Maybe it was giving mom a break. Maybe it was letting her sleep in. Maybe it's like my husband does for me every Wednesday and Thursday and lets me have office hours so I can feel productive, like I've accomplished something, even though I'm a mom all the time. But there's so many out there, and I bet you I could go for another year straight. And so I really just wanted to highlight these dads, because I put on here the mom who advocates for dads, because I really am. My dad cooked, did the laundry, took us to the pool, gave my mom a break, was at all of my basketball. He was on the cross country meet, meeting me at the mile marker, like walking through it with me. He was involved, and that's been my experience. So I watch these shows like King of the Hill or Homer Simpson, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I know there's people out there like that, but just not in my world. And so I really
Right.
just wanted to offer different perspective. So
I like it.
that's
That
Dad
is
Talk.
awesome.
Yeah,
So, well, I think that's something that definitely you should probably be bringing back.
we're
And
working on it for
yes,
sure.
yes. And if you're looking for where you're going to host it and everything, let's have another conversation with that, because
I,
I can point you in the right directions for that.
yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because I do everything for this podcast myself, and it's pretty seamless in the process.
And you're a superhuman. That sounds really intimidating to me, but I'm sure you can make it less scary.
Yeah, I promise I will. I'll make it less scary. And it
Okay.
doesn't mean it won't overwhelm your head, but because I tend to do that sometimes, but we'll make it easy for you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
All
because I do
right.
want to bring it back, and my newsletter that went with it every month. So,
All right. Well, that's another place I can help you. All right. Well, this has been awesome, fun conversation. I knew it was going to be. I want to go ahead and wrap up. We've got two final questions. Last
okay.
question is the easy one. How do people get a hold of you? But before that, this is the Meet Cool People show.
Yes.
So I'd like you to say in your own words, what does Meet Cool People mean to you?
Meet cool people means to me that you just never know who you're going to meet or how they're going to help you in your life. We had a random car situation, and I had just met a couple on the playground where he worked at an auto parts store. Or I had a VC this afternoon, and she was telling me her dream of who she wanted. And someone literally emailed me, never met the guy, found him on LinkedIn, connected him. And I just love being that people that helps cool people meet, but knowing the cool people so I can introduce them to other cool people.
I love it. It is awesome. And that's kind of the way we just live our lives these days. It's just like,
Yeah.
how do we meet cool people so we can introduce them to other cool people? I mean, that's the whole point of this show, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
it's more fun that way. I know
I
some
agree.
introverted homebodies that don't do that, that think it's weird. Actually, on our very first date, my husband and I were walking around an open air mall. I said hi to someone. He said, "Did you literally just say hi to someone you don't know on purpose?"
That's
Yes.
funny.
And I'm like, "Did you get raised? You were going to get chloroformed and thrown in the back of a white van? Like, relax. I just waved." Like, oh my God. He was terrified. He was like
Yeah,
very thrown off.
that's
Now he
funny.
does, and he thinks it's awesome.
Yeah,
And he's like,
it's
"Yeah, my
pretty
wife's
funny.
network." One more funny story, if I have time. So when we bought our house, we, I've been in networking for 20 years. So we were able to bring in our own contractors. So we had the home inspection. We found the four things, and we needed an electrician. We needed a HVAC person. We needed two others. I can't remember just for time's sake. Oh, electrician.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I brought him in, and my realtor was like, "One, how do you know all these people, and how did you get them to show up all at the same time?" Our neighbors thought we were drug dealers because people kept showing up in vans in front of our house. And I guess they thought we were like super wealthy and connected to the mafia. And I'm like, no, it's just like my dad, friends that do trade stuff that
Right.
came to help me.
That's
And
funny.
then we presented proposals to the couple who needed to do it and said, "Look, you don't have to go find your own people. Here's these awesome people," because they were in my phone.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
That's awesome. I love it. Very, very cool. All right. Well, this has been an awesome conversation. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here, but I want to make sure people are going to want to follow you there, especially if you get the podcast back up and running. They're going to want to find out
right.
that. So, what is the easiest way for people to get connected with you?
Yeah. So I'm going to give two answers. I know you want one, but LinkedIn, my name, I'm probably the only one on there, but be present ads / let's dash connect. Is going to go directly to my inbox in my email. I answer it, not AI, like we were talking about, not I answer it. So you'll get to me and just mention that you found me on Meet Cool People so I can give you links.
Awesome. I love it. And you did the awesome thing by telling people, mention that you heard me here, because so many people don't do that. I don't understand it. It's like, no, I want to know where people are coming from.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I'm
So
the data
awesome.
girl.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Anneliese. This has been a lot of fun. I knew it would be. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us today.
Sure.
All right. And everybody else, get out there. Have an amazing week. As always, if there's anything I can do to help you out, reach out. Let me know. And that wraps up another Meet Cool People show. Now, if you like what you heard, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, or review so I can help introduce these amazing cool people to even more amazing cool people. And just remember, meeting cool people is just the beginning. You need to have a system in place to follow up with the amazing people that you meet. This is exactly what we do for our clients. Now, if you'd like to see if my team and I can help you, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and check out the case study video to see exactly how we're helping our clients turn casual connections into cash clients for life. Again, go to convertmoreclientsnow.com and see how we can work together to turn you into a follow-up rock star.